What if I told you that criticism, the thing that makes most of us cringe, overthink, or even spiral into self-doubt, could actually be your greatest tool for growth? Sounds crazy, right? But here's the truth. Handling criticism isn't just about toughening up or pretending it doesn't bother you. It's about mastering your mind and flipping the narrative entirely. Criticism doesn't have to break you, it can refine you. In this video, we're diving into Stoic strategies that go beyond surface-level advice like just ignore it. We're talking actionable, transformative tools that empower you to not only handle criticism, but to turn it into a powerful advantage. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Stoicism. Isn't that just about suppressing emotions and acting indifferent? Trust me, it's not. In fact, the ancient Stoics had some of the most practical and empowering approaches to dealing with life's challenges, including criticism. These strategies are timeless, and by the end of this video, you'll have a mindset toolkit that will make you unstoppable no matter what anyone says about you. So, if you're ready to stop letting criticism control your emotions and start using it to fuel your growth, you're in the right place. Stick around, because what you're about to learn might just change the way you see criticism forever. Let's get into it. Number 1. The mirror test. You ever look in the mirror and think, who even is this person right now? Not just your reflection, your reaction to life, to people, to all the little jabs and digs they throw your way. We've all been there, caught off guard by criticism that feels like a sucker punch to the gut. Maybe it's your boss nitpicking your presentation, or a friend casually dropping a comment about your outfit that lands just a little too hard. And in those moments, you either lash out, clam up, or spend hours replaying the scene in your head. But what if I told you that the mirror, the same one you use to check your hair or spot spinach in your teeth, could actually help you handle criticism like a Stoic philosopher? Stay with me here. This isn't about chanting affirmations or staring at yourself until you become magically immune to the world's nonsense. I'm talking about the mirror test. It's deceptively simple, but wildly effective. The idea is this: when you're criticized, instead of reacting impulsively, take some time to process it privately. Later, stand in front of a mirror and reenact the scenario. Say out loud what you wish you'd said, or repeat the critic's words and analyze your reaction. Sounds awkward, right? It is. But trust me, there's power in seeing yourself from the outside, raw, unfiltered, and utterly honest. Think about it. How often do we obsess over what someone said, yet never stop to hear how we sound in return? The mirror strips away the guesswork. It lets you observe your tone, your facial expressions, and even the subtle shift in your posture when you're under fire. You might notice that you came across more defensive than you thought, or that your voice trembled when you tried to explain yourself. And no, this isn't about judging yourself harshly. It's about owning the moment. Let me give you an example. A few months ago, I presented an idea during a team meeting. You know the kind where you've worked for days on something and you're excited to share it? Well, my boss cut me off with a dismissive, "Let's move on, this isn't practical." Ouch. I nodded and smiled like a good professional, but inside I was fuming. Later that night, I stood in front of my bathroom mirror and replayed the scene. I mimicked my boss's words and my own overly polite response. Then I tried saying what I wished I'd said. "I understand your concerns, but here's why I think this idea could work." I practiced it until it felt natural. The next day, I approached my boss, calmly restated my case, and guess what? He reconsidered. That mirror gave me the clarity and confidence I needed. This isn't just about handling criticism, it's about reclaiming your narrative. It's about seeing yourself as both the actor and the director of your story. When you use the mirror test, you're not just responding to others. you're training yourself to respond to life with intention, not emotion. It's about reclaiming your space, your peace, and your dignity. So, the next time someone's words rattle you, don't just stew over it. Step up to the mirror, face yourself, and practice owning the moment. Awkward? Sure. Empowering? Absolutely. Remember, the mirror doesn't lie. It shows you the real you. And that's exactly who you need to face the world with strength and self-respect. Number 2, criticism currency. Exchange. You know, criticism is a lot like spare change. It clinks around, it's sometimes unwanted, and if you're not careful, it weighs you down. But here's the thing, just like loose coins, not all criticism is worthless. The trick is knowing which pieces to keep and which to toss. That's where the idea of criticism currency exchange comes in. It's a mindset shift, a way to take every piece of feedback, whether it's helpful, hurtful, or downright ridiculous, and turn it into something valuable, or at the very least, something you don't have to carry around. Let's be real. We've all had moments when someone's words hit us like a brick. Maybe it's your partner saying you never listen during an argument, or your coworker casually pointing out that your idea lacks substance. You know the type. They just drop their opinions on you, and suddenly you're questioning your entire existence. We've all been there, replaying the scene in our heads, thinking, why didn't I say something? Was I wrong? Are they just mean? And then you spiral, right? But what if you treated criticism like currency instead of a weapon? What if you could decide its worth before letting it get to you? Here's how it works. The next time someone critiques you, pause and imagine they've just handed you a coin. Ask yourself, is this coin real or counterfeit? In other words, is this feedback valuable or is it just noise? Valuable criticism comes from people who care about your growth, who see your potential, and who want you to succeed. Counterfeit criticism, that's the stuff born out of jealousy, insecurity, or plain misunderstanding. The beauty of this mental exchange is that you get to decide. Keep the valuable coins and use them to improve. The fake ones, toss them. They're not worth your time or energy. I'll give you an example from my own life. A few years ago, I worked with someone who loved to critique everything. My emails, my presentations, even the way I spoke during meetings. At first, I was crushed. I started second-guessing every move I made. Then one day, I decided to test this criticism currency exchange idea. The next time he gave me feedback, I paused and thought, what's his motive here? Sure enough, it wasn't about helping me. It was about making himself look smarter. Counterfeit coin, tossed. But when another colleague pointed out a flaw in my presentation flow, I realized she was right. Her feedback made my work better. That was a real coin, and I kept it. Here's the magic of this approach. It puts you back in control. Criticism doesn't have to derail you. It's not about silencing your critics or pretending you're perfect. It's about being smart with what you let in. This is about reclaiming your peace, your energy, and your sense of self-worth. When you master the criticism currency exchange, you stop being a victim of other people's words and start using them to your advantage, or discarding them without guilt. So, the next time someone hands you a coin of criticism, don't just pocket it blindly. Examine it. Decide if it's valuable or counterfeit. Keep what helps you grow and leave the rest behind. Remember, you control the exchange rate. Your worth? That's non-negotiable. Number 3, the silent gratitude gambit. You know, nothing confuses a critic more than gratitude. Seriously. Imagine someone coming at you with all their sharp words and pointed tones, expecting you to crumble or snap back, and instead you pause, smile, and silently say to yourself, "Thank you." No sarcasm, no eye-rolling, just genuine, quiet gratitude. I call it the silent gratitude gambit, And while it might sound a little unconventional, it's a game changer. Trust me on this. It doesn't just defuse the moment, it reclaims your peace and leaves you in control. We've all been in that situation where someone's words hit a nerve. Maybe it's a coworker critiquing your idea in a meeting, or a friend throwing a casual jab that feels anything but casual. And what's our instinct? To defend, to explain, to fight back. But those reactions, as natural as they feel, usually leave us drained, replaying the scene in our heads, wishing we'd handled it differently. Here's the thing. You don't win by fighting back. You win by staying unshaken, and gratitude, silent, unexpected gratitude, is your secret weapon. So here's how it works. The next time someone criticizes you, resist the urge to react immediately. Instead, pause, take a deep breath, and in your mind say, "Thank you for the lesson." What lesson, you ask? Well, it could be anything. Maybe they've pointed out something you genuinely need to work on, or maybe the lesson is that their words reflect more about them than about you. Either way, there's always a takeaway. This simple mental shift changes the narrative. Instead of being the victim of their words, you become the observer, the learner, the one in control. I remember using this strategy for the first time during a heated family dinner. You know how family can be. They know exactly how to push your buttons. My aunt, bless her, made a comment about my career choices, something along the lines of, "Well, I guess some people just don't prioritize stability." Oof. Every fiber of my being wanted to launch into a full defense mode, but instead, I paused. In my head, I said, "Thank you for the reminder that I define my own path, not others." I didn't argue. I didn't explain. I just smiled and changed the subject. The look on her face, priceless. This isn't about being passive or letting people walk all over you. It's about protecting your energy. When you choose silent gratitude, you're not giving them power. You're taking it back. You're deciding that their words don't get to control your emotions. And guess what? It feels incredible. It's like building a shield around your peace, one quiet thank you at a time. Here's the beauty of the silent gratitude gambit. It benefits you emotionally and mentally. You stop letting others dictate your mood. You stop carrying their negativity around like a burden. And most importantly, you start seeing every interaction, even the tough ones, as an opportunity for growth. This isn't just about surviving criticism, it's about thriving despite it. So the next time someone throws words your way, don't react. Pause, smile, and in your mind, whisper, "Thank you. Thank you for the clarity. Thank you for the lesson. Thank you for the chance to stay grounded in who I am. Your peace, your growth, your dignity, they're all worth protecting. And with this gambit, they stay firmly in your hands." Number 4, reverse engineer the critic. Have you ever felt like criticism is a puzzle you can't solve? Someone says something that cuts deep, and you're left wondering, why did they say that? What does this even mean? Here's the twist. Instead of letting their words linger as a mystery, what if you could reverse engineer the critic? Yes, I'm talking about flipping the script, analyzing the person behind the words, instead of letting their criticism define you. It's like playing detective, but the prize isn't just solving the case. It's reclaiming your confidence and clarity. Think about it. Criticism often feels personal, but more often than not, it's a reflection of the person delivering it. We've all been there. A coworker rolls their eyes at your idea in a meeting, or a family member makes a snide comment about your choices. You start overthinking, wondering what's wrong with you. But what if, instead, you thought, what's going on with them? Reverse engineering. The critic isn't about judging them, it's about understanding their motivations, their biases, and yes, even their insecurities. Because once you understand the critic, their words lose their sting. Here's how it works. When someone critiques you, take a step back, mentally, if not physically. Instead of reacting, ask yourself a series of questions. Is this person usually supportive, or do they tend to nitpick? Are they speaking from experience, or are they projecting their own fears? Do they stand to gain something by putting me down? These questions aren't about labeling them as good or bad. They're about gaining context. Criticism without context can feel like a dagger, but with context, it becomes data, useful, manageable, and far less threatening. Let me share a moment from my own life. Years ago, I presented a big idea at work, one I was proud of. But before I could finish explaining, a colleague interrupted with, "This feels unrealistic. I don't think it's going to work." Ouch, right? My first instinct was to defend myself, but then I stopped. I thought about him, his background, his usual behavior. He was someone who avoided risks, someone who needed absolute certainty before moving forward. His criticism wasn't about my idea, it was about his discomfort with ambiguity. Once I saw that, his words didn't feel like an attack anymore. I thanked him for his input, adjusted my pitch slightly, and moved on. The result? A successful project and a lesson I'll never forget. Here's the beauty of reverse engineering the critic. It shifts the power dynamic. You're no longer at the mercy of their words because you've put their feedback in perspective. This strategy doesn't mean dismissing every critique that comes your way. It means filtering out what's helpful from what's not, all while staying grounded in your self-worth. This is about protecting your peace, your focus, and your energy. When you reverse engineer the critic, you stop being a sponge, soaking up every drop of negativity, and start being a sieve, letting the unhelpful stuff pass right through. You gain clarity, not just about them, but about yourself, your strengths, your boundaries, your growth. It's empowering because it reminds you that criticism doesn't define you, your response to it does. So the next time someone throws criticism your way, don't just absorb it. Pause. Ask yourself what's really driving their words. Reverse engineer their perspective, and you'll find that what once felt like an attack is often just noise. Your confidence, your growth, your peace, they're worth protecting. And this approach, it's the blueprint to do just that. Number 5. The Firewalk Exposure Drill. What if I told you the key to conquering fear isn't to avoid it, but to walk straight through it? Sounds dramatic, right? But hear me out. Imagine fear as a blazing firewalk. The thought of stepping onto it is terrifying, but the only way to the other side, the side where your growth and freedom lie, is through it. Now, I'm not asking you to literally walk on fire. This is about taking a bold, deliberate step into the very things that scare you, one controlled exposure at a time. Trust me, it's not as reckless as it sounds. In fact, it's life-changing. We've all had those moments where fear holds us back. Maybe it's speaking up in a meeting, confronting someone who crossed a line, or even taking that first step toward a dream we've kept tucked away. The thought alone can feel paralyzing. Your mind starts spinning worst-case scenarios. What if I fail? What if I look stupid? What if they judge me? And so, we back away from the fire, convincing ourselves it's safer to stay where we are. But let's be real, staying stuck isn't safe. It's suffocating. The Firewalk Exposure Drill is about flipping the script on fear. Instead of letting it chase you, you approach it strategically, like a science experiment. You start small, dipping your toes into the metaphorical fire instead of diving in head first. Afraid of public speaking? Start by speaking up in small group settings. Intimidated by confrontation? Practice expressing your thoughts with people you trust. Each step into the fire weakens its grip on you because exposure shrinks fear. It's a psychological fact. I remember my first firewalk. Years ago, I was terrified of rejection, especially in professional settings. One day, I decided to try something radical. I set a goal to get rejected 3 times a week. Yep, you heard that right. I emailed people I admired, pitched wild ideas, and even asked for things I thought were way out of reach. The first few rejections stung, no doubt, but then something amazing happened. The fear of hearing no started to fade. I realized rejection wasn't fatal, it was just feedback. And those rejections, they led to unexpected opportunities I never would have had if I'd stayed silent. This drill works because it rewires your brain. Fear thrives on avoidance. When you avoid the things you're scared of, your brain learns that the fear was justified. But when you face it, even in small doses, you prove to yourself that you're stronger than the fear. It's not about being fearless, it's about building resilience. Each time you step into the fire, you come out on the other side a little braver, a little freer. This isn't just about facing your fears, it's about reclaiming your life. Every step through the fire is a declaration. I refuse to let fear dictate my choices. It's about feeling the fear, respecting its presence, but not letting it decide where you go. Think about it. How much more could you do, be, and experience if fear wasn't holding you back? The fire will always be there, but so will your ability to walk through it. And with each step, you'll realize the fire isn't as hot as you thought, and the freedom on the other side is worth every moment of discomfort. So, are you ready to take your first step? Because the firewalk isn't just a drill, it's a path to the life you deserve. Thank you so much for watching. I truly hope this video gave you some fresh perspectives and practical insights for handling criticism in a way that empowers you rather than holds you back. If you found value in this, please give it a thumbs up. It really helps the channel and lets me know this content resonates with you. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more tools and strategies to navigate life with confidence and clarity. Know someone who might be struggling with criticism or could benefit from a Stoic mindset. Share this video with them. It could be exactly what they need right now. I'd also love to hear your thoughts. What's one criticism you've faced that taught you something valuable? Or what's your go-to strategy for dealing with negativity? Drop a comment below and let's start a conversation. It's a space for us to learn and grow together. Remember, criticism doesn't define you, it refines you. Keep standing tall, keep growing, and keep mastering the art of resilience. Until next time, take care and keep striving to live life on your terms. See you in the next video.